Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of the 1996 film Matilda. And oh my god, you need to watch this film as a kid and as an adult. Because as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, the parents suck. Good on Matilda, the principal sucks. And as an adult, you're like, oh yeah, they really do suck, but that's like dialed up to 10 because, oh wow, they really do fucking suck. And the fact that the parents got no justice at the end of this movie pissed me off. Pissed. So, we start off the movie with it being clear that they did not want Matilda. I don't know why they didn't just give her up for adoption. It is clear they did not want her. It is clear they would not feel any guilt for giving her up for adoption. And they really gained nothing by keeping her. Anyways, Matilda is shown to be a bright and intelligent girl. Contrary to her parents and brother, she seeks out knowledge so she can better herself while her parents do not. It's described that she became self-sufficient, which she shouldn't have. She shouldn't have become self-sufficient. That isn't a, oh, cool for Matilda moment. No, that is sad because she shouldn't have had to become self-sufficient. Her intelligence is wonderful, and that is awesome. But her self-sufficiency is not. That is just sad. Because her parents were not providing for her like they should have. Mind you, Matilda is only 6 in this movie, I believe. And she was like providing for herself at like 4? No. She's left home to sign for packages, I guess, because her father is a scummy car salesman who sells used cars that break down like 10 days after they're bought. And the neglect. They never so much abuse Matilda in the physical sense. I think they got a little grabby with her. But it's just neglect and mental abuse, and that's just as bad. She didn't start school until she was 6. She should have started at like 4 or 5. And I don't understand why, because I'm pretty sure public school is free. Or at least, it's also, isn't... I could be wrong. I mean, this is America, so I mean... But I'm pretty sure it is. So, she could have gone to public school. Her brother goes to public school. Unless they're sending him to a private school, which I guess they could have been, but still. So, the father gets mad at her for being correct. Like, he throws out some numbers and she gives out the answer. And he says, I'm punishing you for being a smart aleck. When bad people do bad things, they need to be punished. He meant to say bad kids, but this brought up the concept to Matilda that she could punish her parents. And great. That is absolutely lovely. So she, I think dyed her father's hair, and glued his hat to his head so he got embarrassed in public. And then Miss Trunchbull enters the field. And Miss Trunchbull, again, didn't really get any comeuppance. So she runs a school. She's a principal of a school, which she shouldn't be. I don't understand why she is. She hates it. And it's not as if she's not a skilled person. She apparently went to the Olympics. So she could easily be like a personal trainer. Like, there are people who would pay for her to be just as dickish as she is to the kids to be to them. And they'd pay her for it, to train them. She's only the principal because she wants these kids to suffer because she likes seeing kids suffer. So Matilda goes to school, and immediately we see her abuse a kid. She grabs a kid by her pigtails, and just whirly-birds around and yucks her over the field. She could have been impaled by the spiked gates, by the way. And even then, like, she started gliding off the grass. No, she should not be okay after that. She should not be okay. Her hair should have been ripped from her head. No. And then she threw a kid out a window, and it said he was not okay, but, like, what did the parents of that kid think? Like, did they think he fell out the fucking window? And then they got this chokey, which is a spiked thing where it's basically a torture device. And the parents don't believe him when the kids are sent in there, which, okay, fine. If they don't got marks, whatever. But, like, there is physical evidence that she yucked a kid out a damn window. A 2-story window. No. So Matilda proves her smarts to Miss Honey. And Miss Honey starts advocating for her to be sent to a higher grade. And Miss Punchbowl don't like that. Because, I guess it proves Miss Honey's weakness. So, Miss Honey goes to the Wormwoods to, advocate for Matilda, and she immediately gets a sense of how shitty they are. Also, I need to tell you that Matilda was walking several blocks to the library at 4. She shouldn't have been doing that. I don't give a And this is not a small little town. I'm pretty sure this is a big city. She could have been just plucked off the street. So Matilda is reading a book, Moby Dick. And her father destroys the book and forces her to watch TV. Like, holds her head, and forces her to watch it. And she gets angry. And the TV explodes, and she realized, oh my god, I did that. I got powers. So she uses it again for Witch Trunchbull, but she can't do it. And she realizes it's only because she's angry. So she ends up bonding with Miss Honey more. And Miss Honey invites her to the house. And, I'm kind of iffy, because at the same time, it's kind of weird in a sense, because Matilda has not known Miss Honey that long. This isn't a family friend. And she's 6, mind you. So, it's just so... And I'm not saying that it's wrong. Or what was happening was wrong. Because nothing bad happened. I'm just saying that her parents didn't care. They probably didn't even know, and they didn't care that their child was going to the house of a stranger. Well, yes, she's the teacher. She has not been Matilda's teacher for that long. So she also... Mr. Wormwood is getting spotted by the FBI. And... yeah, there's that. And Matilda straight up looks him in the eye and says, they're cops, and nobody believes them, which kind of... Matilda's better than me. I wouldn't have said shit. I'd have let them crash and burn. So we have this kid, Bruce Brogtrotter. He ended up stealing a piece of cake from the kitchen, and that was Miss Trunchbull's cake, and she's pissed. So she forces Bruce Bogtrotter to be the Matt Stoney and Randy Santel before Matt Stoney and Randy Santel were doing it. He proceeded to eat an entire chocolate cake by himself. It wasn't an insignificant amount of chocolate cake. He was spurred on at the end by the kids, so he succeeded, but, Miss Trunchbull was pissed, because that wasn't the point. She wasn't meant to invigorate the kids. So she grabbed it and slammed it down on his head and punished the kids. Collective punishment. Matilda ends up realizing that the powers... She and Miss Honey... I'm going out of time, These all happen in the movie out of time, I sometimes forget what the order of the scenes are. Got bad memory. Anyway, Matilda and Miss Honey go into Miss Trunchbull's home, and it's revealed that Miss Trunchbull was Miss Honey's aunt, and she basically got Cinderella'd. Miss Trunchbull is the step aunt, and it's kind of implied that she murdered Miss Honey's dad. So after Matilda realizes that it takes anger to use her powers, she trains on it and kind of fucks with the FBI agents. They were breaking into the Wormwood's garage, which they shouldn't do. You can't do that. You can't do that without a search warrant. And they were trying to find evidence, and she ended up preventing that because, giving her father one final chance. In the end, she ended up breaking into Miss Trunchbull's home, Miss Honey's home, to steal some mementos that belonged to Miss Honey. She returned them, but Miss Trunchbull found Matilda's bow, and she got pissed. So she went on a rampage, but Matilda used her powers to scare the shit out of her. And she was run off. And the kids ended up chasing her off too. And here's the thing. I can't remember if it said like an end credit she got arrested, but I don't think she did. I feel like it'd have been better if we saw her getting arrested. And then the ending was, we learned that Miss Honey was made the principal. And that the Wormwoods are escaping to Guam. Mind you, Guam is a U.S. territory, I believe. I don't know if it was a U.S. territory in the 90s. I think it was. But Guam is a U.S. territory. I'm pretty sure if you don't want to get extradited by the FBI, don't go to a U.S. territory. That's all I'm going to say on that. Anyways, the narrator, which is also Danny DeVito, he plays Mr. Wormwood, says, in the first real act of being parents to Matilda, they signed the adoption papers. And this is kind of book ex machina, because, like, where'd you find these adoption papers? In a book. Okay, we'll just ignore it. We'll just ignore that, because it takes there's a whole lot of shit. There's a whole lot of paperwork that involves to even start the adoption process. We're just going to push that away. You found that in a book. We'll just get rid of that, okay? So, Miss Honey and Matilda got what they always wanted, a loving family. And that's how the story ends. With the villains not getting their comeuppance, which I guess, kind of fits with real life. Sometimes the villains don't get their comeuppance. But, it was a happy ending. Matilda and Miss Honey got their family. Overall, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I just really... God. I hate the Wormwoods. Abusive pieces of shit. Same with Miss Trunchbull. God. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.